Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and I'm here for a hopefully quick update. I realized I had a good amount of stuff on my pile, so hopefully it won't take too long. And the kids are watching a cartoon in the background, so in the other room, so hopefully that won't be too distracting. But I wasn't able to film last Friday like I kind of hoped I would be. I was home, but pretty busy. We had been on vacation most of last week, and then I had an Etsy personalized order I had to work on, and I was just tired, and I didn't get a lot of stitching done over the vacation, so there really wasn't a whole lot to show on Friday. So I figured this coming Friday might be a bad day too, so I figured I'd split the difference and do like a week and a half. So here I am today. It is Tuesday, 17th of July. So when I spoke to you last, I believe I was working on Snow Queen. Oh, but first I want to show you, I have a little bit of haul, only one thing, but with that is another, change in my fall life. So I received my beautiful Victorian Motto Threads of the Month, and some of you may have seen these already, but I got mine a few days ago. And they're really pretty. They're a little, that might be a little better. They're a little washed out there. That's probably pretty good. But they're really pretty, and I like all of them really. Even this, I'm not really necessarily a neutral fan, but this one is really pretty because it's got a fuzz on it. It has, yeah, that can kind of show it here where there's like light tan and kind of a darker, I don't know, it's really pretty. Anyways, that one's called Mellow Caramel, which is fun. So I've been enjoying my Victorian Motto. I love that there's 20 yards on the skein. But I'm getting a lot. I have a lot of them already. And I have been lately kind of wanting to try Color & Cotton's threads because these are mildly variegated and Color & Cotton's are often more variegated. I know she has some that are not as much, but I felt like a change to go to try theirs. So I ended up canceling Victorian Motto's Thread of the Month and setting up Color & Cotton's Thread of the Month, which I won't receive till the middle of August, I believe. That her ship in the middle of the month instead of the beginning. So I'll have to wait a month and a half for another shipment. But I went with the 5 per month for Color & Cotton. And I'm looking forward to that. And I'll probably do that for a few months, at least till the end of the year, and then see if I want to reevaluate at that point and maybe look into fabrics or something. I forget who said it now. Somebody I watched like a month or two ago was saying they would rather put monthly club money towards specific fabrics and colors that they knew would go with their projects, and I really like that idea, especially for fabric. The problem is I like Color & Cotton's fabrics, but a lot of what she offers is only through her Fabric of the Month Club. And she mentioned on Ginger Gerald's like Confessions of a Flosstuber a little while ago that she's hoping to have more fabric available on her website, so maybe when that happens I'll be able to buy something from her a little easier just off her website. And then even Nancy from Victorian Motto, she mentioned too that she's hoping to get a few fabrics pictured on the side of her blog that we can buy directly from her that way too, because she said there's a few, I want to get some greens for some of my mirabilias that are not yet kitted up, and Nancy said she had a sage color that I would like to see, and then there was an Irish one recently that Color & Cotton put out that looked pretty, but I don't think she has any more of it. So I'm just thinking through, I don't need any new fabric, any new patterns kitted up right now, so that can wait till next year, but that's something I might think about once I feel like I have enough Color & Cotton, if that would ever happen. And then maybe look into getting some more fabrics at some point. So that's that. I've really enjoyed Nancy's Floss Club with the Victorian motto, so if you would like to join that club, she's always taking new members, I believe, and she's a really generous lady, has lovely products. I'm not stopping it because I don't like it, I just think I have enough. I don't do the type of patterns that call for overdyed conversions as much as some other people do, so I don't want to get like a boatload of these colors and then not have any way to use them. So I think I have plenty for right now, and I would like to try color and cotton. So I'm just basically reallocating that money into another place, so I'm not spending twice as much. So, on to my projects. I was working on Snow Queen last time I talked to you, and I was going into my second day on it. And this is what that looks like. Snow Queen by Shannon Wassela. It's on her Shannon Christine Designs website right now, or you can find it in this World of Cross Stitching magazine, which is $149 maybe. It was December of like 2016, I think. That's what that looks like. And it's in there. And the first day, that's not it. The first day I worked on it, let's get the right little tube over here. The first day I worked on it, I had only had time to put in one length of thread of that lightest white color, and the next day I got more done, but not the whole color. So this is what it looked like last time. And here, I think I like it better this way. Switching my hands. And here it is now. So this is light blue Ada, 14 count Ada, that was in my stash from my grandma, which is why the margins are so horrible. But the color was perfect, so I just had to do it. And it's, so I think I had like right here done last time, so I got all the rest of this light color done. There's a little bit more right here and a little bit more in the tree, and then I realized all of the snow on the ground is just B5200. There's no shading in that, so that will actually be a lot nicer. Because the shading in the tree was horrible, because you can't really tell. On camera, you can kind of see the distinction there, and when you're looking at it in person, once it's done, you can see, oh yeah, there's different colors in there. But when you're stitching it, it all looks the same. So I've been definitely highlighting my tree. I have not bothered to highlight the pattern. But I've been highlighting my tree just so I can know where I've stitched and where I haven't, because it was getting really confusing. So that'll be nice for the snow, just to have one color. It'll make it a lot easier. So I put 2 days in on this, or more like a day and then 15 minutes. But that's how far that is now. And this is for my daughter, so it'll come out again next month. Next month is August, which I'm hosting Arbitrary August, which is just going to be like an Instagram hashtag. The goal is to be random, so however you want to make that work for you is fine. I can talk about that more later, but I've chosen to put a few pieces, including that one, on certain days to make sure they get love, because they're like my consistent pieces. But everything else is going to have a random day, so that one will get one day in August. And going forward, I might try a 3-day rotation and then give my kids' pieces just their 1 day rather than 2 or 3, because I feel like 2 days is not quite enough. That's what I've been trying this month. I've been trying 2-day rotations, and sometimes it's okay, and other times I feel like rushing, and like I feel like I have to get something done, or I have to work on this today, or I won't have any more time to work on it for another several months. And it seems like too much pressure. So I think if I add an extra day, it'll still be fairly short rotation, so I can still get through a good amount of projects, but not as long as a 4 or 5 day rotation, which is takes too long to get to all my projects. So anyways, we'll see. Maybe in September I'll try a 3-day rotation. See how that fits me. So after Snow Queen, I worked on my Christmas wreath, which is the first of my Christmas designs for Christmas in July, which I'm just doing a loose Christmas in July. This is my fruit wreath from Oh Christmas Tree by Leisure Arts. Oh, just got myself in the eye. I started this, like I said before, I started this probably in 98. When did I get the book? 97. I got the book in 97. So I could have started it right away, or it was a Christmas present, so it could have been the next year in 98. So I was in high school. This is what it looked like last time. Here is where I got to. Which is pretty good. I did not finish the cross stitching, but I got very close. I finished all the main colors. Let's see, I don't want it too washed out. And then started in on this darkest green right here. So I need to finish filling in that dark green throughout all these little cracks in the wreath. And then I can start backstitching. And for this one, I decided to save my backstitching till the end, which I don't always do, because even though there's a lot of it, some of it is black. I didn't want it to be hard to see, and also the backstitching is a 1-strand backstitch and it's a 4-strand cross stitch, so I didn't want it to get lost in there and then not see it and go over it again on accident. I don't know, I just wanted to have it all be like in the same mental space so I wouldn't mess up. So anyways, that's kind of what I thought with that one. So this is almost done cross-stitched. So this is very likely going to be finished before Christmas. I don't have any firm plans of when it's coming back out. It may come out in arbitrary August, but I don't know. And I do not have it planned for September because I'm doing some of my favorites in September. And for my birthday month. But I might bring it back in October and November to try to see it finished. So, and even December. Like, I don't care if I'm working on it in the month of Christmas, because that's fun to work on Christmas stuff at Christmas time. So, but it would be nice to have it done and made into a pillow before Christmas so I can actually have it out. So we'll see if I can get it done in October and November. Get you back in there. There we go. So that was that one, and that one I worked on it a little bit at home the first day, and then the second day was the start of our a little short vacation we had with our family and my parents, and pardon the lawnmowers outside. And that first day was a lot of driving, and my husband did all the driving that day, so I got a good amount done on it in the car. And then the rest of the vacation was pretty spotty as far as stitching time, because a lot of times when we're on a vacation and we have like a hotel room or even a house with other family, there's usually time to stitch in the evenings after the kids go to bed. However, with my parents, they love to play board games, and we like to play board games. So when we're together, we play board games. So we played until like 11 or 12 midnight, which after that you just want to crash and go to bed. So I managed to work on my 100 Days of Hay challenge piece at least a little bit every day throughout the vacation, but I had a 4-day chunk on Storytime Sampler, and I think I only worked on it twice. I think I only got to it 2 days. Maybe a third day I had like a few stitches, but it did not see the amount of time I would normally have thought I would have gotten on vacation. That's why I chose this one for a vacation piece. I thought, no problem. 4 days with a vacation, I'll be able to finish this. I brought along my wreath because I was working on that on day one. I brought along Snow Queen because I thought, well, maybe I'll finish everything and I can work on the rest of that color in her dress. And I might have brought along something else too. Or maybe just those 3 in my Haid one. But I brought way too much cross stitch for the amount of time I had to stitch on this trip. But anyways, it is what it is. It's not done yet. I was going to switch Lady of Shalott to be Pride and Prejudice, my personally charted Pride and Prejudice. So I will show you what I did. got the white done in the banner, so that's finished. And that's what I've done for July. And you're probably saying to yourself, Sarah, that's not Pride and Prejudice. And you would be right. That is Anne of Green Gables. When I mentioned in my last video that I wasn't sure I liked having blocks right next to each other that had 2 people in them, because it seemed a little weird when all the rest of them only had 1 person. And Shelley, Key X Stitch, texted me and she's like, why don't you switch Lady of Shalott with Anne and then put Pride and Prejudice where Anne goes, so that the Anne was supposed to be down here. So then Pride and Prejudice would have 2 people here, and then Phantom of the Opera would still have his 2 people and be a little more spread out. And the coloring of Lady Shalott, her hair and her border matched Anne, and so it worked well to fit in the piece that way. So that was a great idea, so thank you, Shelley. So that's how far I've gotten on Anne, and this is not how far I got on my vacation. Since I've been home, I've been able to pull it out a couple times, like if we're watching TV or something, I pulled it out. So like last night I worked on her hair while we were watching American Ninja Warrior and listening to my husband read to my kids. So and I started the green last night. So the border is done, and these colors up here are done wherever they are. So that's Anne of Green Gables, and I will put Pride and Prejudice down here in the month of October. So that's where that is. On the way home, I was kind of anticipating that I would be able to stitch all the way home and get more done on this. But I was feeling kind of tired, and I'm like, I just want to put it down and take a nap while my husband's driving. And then he decided, he's like, hey, can you take over? I'm feeling tired. I'm like, oh great. I am too. So we ended up stopping at a rest stop, and then I took over and drove the last 2.5, 3 hours home instead of him. So not as much stitching time in the car as I was hoping. But it is what it is. I have an extra day at the end of July, then this may come out for that to make sure it gets finished. I also may work on Adventure Awaits by the Caterpillar cross stitch, because those are the 2 Sals that I want to keep up with. So that random date, I might work on one of those to try to see it finished. My travel piece has not seen any time at all. Yesterday I went to fill up the car with gas and worked on it for 5 minutes or whatever in the car, so I'm not even going to bother showing you. Because that's all I worked on it in the past week and a half. I may have to work on Frosted Pumpkin or Adventure Awaits in the car as well, to make sure I stay caught up on those. But once school starts again in mid-August, I'll have a lot more car time, so I should still be able to fit in like all the different projects that I need to stay caught up on, and the monthly thing, for my car travel stitching. So once I was done with my proper rotation on Storytime Sampler, which didn't go like I planned, I decided to start Cherry Kitten by Artisy. And this I'm stitching on, it's a full coverage piece. And I bought the no background version because I'm going to stitch it on this lovely Pole Stitches fabric that W. Duarte gave me. It's kind of hard to, there, that's pretty good for the coloring. It's got blue and purple in it, and this is how far I got with the stitching. I got this brown color was the first color that I started with up here, and I did one whole length of that, which did all these little scattered stitches. And then I came back and picked this color, which was a really light symbol, and it turned out to be black. I'm like, oh, all right, I'll go with black. So I did, I think I'm on my 2nd or 3rd string of black, and starting on one of the eyes, and then, so that was 2 days on that. But again, not 2 full days, because I got an itch to work on my diamond painting. So I'm really enjoying this project, and it started now, so it could come back out in arbitrary August if it's drawn. But I was really excited to work on my diamond painting, and I had some extra time on Saturday, so I managed to get a diagonal done on my diamond painting and get some time on this. So, win-win. Saturday was a good day for crafting. This is what my diamond painting looked like last time you saw it. Hopefully I can find a picture. And here is where it is now. Try to get you to see everything without too much sparkle there. You can tell it's definitely sparkling. But I did one more diagonal, and this diagonal, instead of being 10 wide, I did 11 wide because I got to the corner, and I couldn't leave that last corner undone if I was that close to it. So I went ahead and did a diagonal that was 11 pixels wide, and that's what it looks like now. This doesn't really have a name that I know of. I got it on AliExpress. All I do is I type in fall colors, and it's one of the ones that comes up. And this one is about, I think, 12 by 16 inches, roughly. And so it seemed a nice medium size to start with for my first project. And I'm tempted to do another one when this one's done, maybe a Heaven and Earth Designs one, but I kind of like having the numbers on the canvas and not having to use a pattern. So we'll see. We'll see if I do another regular kit or try to kit up a Heaven and Earth Designs one. So I did that on Saturday. Sunday was my second Christmas, what do you call it? Christmas in July piece. I have 4 Christmas pieces. So I worked on my Heirloom Nativity Sampler by Victoria Motto. The Victoria Sampler. Not Victoria Motto. And I love this. Oh my goodness. I started it a little while ago, not too long ago, and really enjoyed what I had done before up here. I did the angels last time in this white band of multiple bands of specialty stitches and then the words. So now I was able to work on some more fun bands, which was really neat. This is what it looked like last time, which I don't remember when that was. And here is where I managed to get to. This is 32 count silver MCG Textiles linen. So these 2 bands, there were Smyrna crosses that were in all one color. This is Bellagio by Gloriana silk that changes in all these colors. Isn't that so pretty? I had to get that one. Like, you couldn't... I'm doing a DMC conversion. Like a lot of these, you could get a thread pack for this. It's like $30, $40 or maybe more, 50. I don't know. It's expensive because all of these colors are either Chronic Mori silk or needlepoint MPI silks, and all the white as well. And I didn't see any need for that because they're solid colors. So I did a DMC conversion based on the charts I found online. And, but there were the Gloriana Bellagio. This dark band right here with ray stitches is Gloriana Elizabethan green. And it has a very subtle variation. And then there's also Sable by the Gentle Art. And those are the 3 variegateds that I decided to buy. And then the rest of them I'm converting to DMC. This one has beads in it, which is fun. And this one has Krynic that goes around the Smyrna stitches. So I ran into an issue with my conversion. So this band with the beads has some thread in between. And that thread, the conversion had a green that was, it seemed too light compared to the picture, and it was a little bit, like, it didn't show up all that well on this fabric, but I went with it because it's what the conversion said, and I did that whole band, did all the beads. The bead color as well was a conversion, and it was supposed to be, the conversion color made it like this light blue color, only I realized it didn't have a symbol, so it was probably only for beads and was meant to match the fabric, which I'm not using their fabric, but my fabric is close to theirs. So I'm like, it's probably meant to be gray, not light blue. I went ahead and used it. And then when I got down to this band, I had the leaves done along the whole band. And then went to do the first color, which again looked lighter than the picture, but I just went with it. Then I went to do the first little flower and pulled the flower color, and it was way, way off. Like the green was only somewhat off. This was way off. It was like a light brown, a light tan, like a rosy tan, but light color. And it was meant to be a dark rose color. And I'm like, that is not dark rose, and that does not look anything like the picture. And so I went back to the drawing board, resorted out the conversions. Some of the colors were okay. Some of them were really, really far off. Like the greens and the reds especially were really, really wrong. And so I fixed it. Took a lot of time last night, but I'm a lot happier with it now. I went back, frogged all the leaves, and I frogged the slashes in between the beads and replaced it with my new color, which I like a lot better. So I was expecting to have this whole little swirly band. It's going to be like a little, a floral vine. I was expecting to have that whole band finished and maybe even start on the shepherds this round, but because of all that fiasco, I didn't get to that. So part of me is tempted to keep going and at least finish this band before I put it away, but I feel like those other stitch-alongs, the Storytime sampler and the caterpillar one will probably need that last week, my extra day in July instead of this one. So I think I'm okay. I think since I've recovered from the frogging, like I replaced that beaded band, that one's done, and now it's like I don't have anything more to fix. Like everything I had completed before is now completed again. That floral band wasn't completed before it was just started. So I'm like, I guess I can just stop here. Even as much as I want to keep going, and save my extra day for those other, what do you call it? My stitch-alongs. So I'm still debating, but I think I might just do that because I don't know. I love this one though. So who knows? You may see this one come out again next time if I pull it out. I was tempted to give it another day or give it half of the day to try to finish that band, but when I saw my next pattern on here that I have scheduled, I'm like, but I really want to give that time too. I just have too many that I like. I really do. So I thoroughly enjoyed working on this. I thoroughly enjoyed the silk and the variegated floss and the specialty stitches and the beads, and so this is really, really fun. I think I might, do I have this coming back out again? I don't think I do. I think in September I had my chatelaine coming out, not this one. I don't have that one either. Oh, but this I still have like I have full 4-day rotation on lots of things, actually. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have to redo my September. So this one and my chatelaine might come out in September, because I like those. I like the specialty stitches and just the different fun stuff that those ones have. And then over the last several days, I've been working on my Furry Animals freebie for the 100 Days of Hade challenge. And it's been going pretty good. I have not been working on this a strict 15 minutes every day like I thought I would be doing. And that may happen once the school year starts and my life is a little more routine, regimented. Right now it is anything but regimented. It is very fluid, and if I sit down to stitch, it's not the same time every day. It's not the same amount of time every day. So I'm just kind of sitting down and doing a few stitches, usually like this little section. I'll just work on that, and it's often less than 15 minutes. But it's still progress. It's still working on it. I have my little chart here that I drew up. I've seen some people that have like a really fancy like board game style chart where they can tick off their days and they have like way to go and halfway there type things like along the way, which is super cool. I don't have time for that. So this is what I did. I just made 10 by 10 on the back of this of my cross stitch planner that I got at the 99-cent store, and I have highlighted these dates. All these numbers are the days of the month, so I don't lose track of what day of the month it is. That seemed more important to me than the number of the challenge. So like every 10th day of the challenge you have to post a picture, so this day is important. And I needed to know, like, as I'm going through, like, you know me and how I forget the date. So I haven't worked on it yet today, but when I finish working on it, I can make sure I check the date and make sure this is right so that I know I haven't skipped anything. And that's been working for me. So far I'm keeping up with it, and this is what it looked like last time. And here it is now. And I've worked on some darker colors in the shading and extended those all the way over to the squirrel because I figured, why not? It's got to be done eventually. And so I think at this point I'm kind of doing extreme cross country over the whole thing, color completing, which just seems to be my thing right now. I really like doing that. Especially when I'm switching projects so much, it seems to really work well for me. I'll just get one color out and just work on that color until my time runs out. And if I run out of the color before my time runs out, I'll switch colors. But it seems to be working really well to do color completing on a lot of my things. So that being said, my next piece coming up, I've been parking. So we'll see how I like parking with my current mood. So before I go into my future projects, I wanted to talk about a couple things. There was a few days ago, I guess, I don't remember if I initiated the conversation. I think it was Dawn, Frosty X Stitch. I was on Facebook and I see she pops up a little comment saying, "Hey, you made the list. Congratulations." I'm like, "What list?" She had sent a little link, so I went and looked, and apparently there's a I forget what it was called, like FeedSpot or something. It's a website, and they had a page called like 30 cross-stitch YouTube channels to watch. And apparently I made the list. I was number 28, I think. And so that was kind of cool to see yourself on a list like that. And I don't know who curated the list. It didn't seem to be based on any numerical data or anything. Like, there were some people on the list who had fewer subscribers than me, and some people I know have more than me that weren't on the list. So I'm not sure what the criteria was for making the list, if it was just somebody that's who they like to watch, or if they were looking for people that had a certain type of offering on their channel. I'm not really sure. I don't know what they were looking for, but it was kind of funny that the top 3 or 4 channels weren't even cross-stitch channels. They were other needle arts, like crochet and needlepoint and knitting and stuff, which was a little funny, or embroidery, like they did embroidery tutorials. But, so yeah, I'm not sure who curated it, and I don't really put a whole lot of stock into it, but it was cool. It was cool to see that. And the other thing, I heard about, McKenna is doing a new retreat in Arizona, and Shelly, she told me about it. She's like, "Hey, there's an Arizona retreat coming up," and I was looking into it and talking to my husband about it, and it's a little bit too long of a length of time for the retreat, and it's farther away, so there would be extra expenses or extra travel time or something, involved in that one. So that one didn't seem to be a good one for me at this point. And so I figured, well, I'll just keep waiting for the Southern California one that's going to happen next year, because I'm too late for this year. And then a couple days later, they post on the Southern California retreat page that there's a few more rooms that are still available for this year. So I was like, oh, yay! So I went immediately texted Shelly. I'm like, do you think you'd be able to go to the Southern California one this year? And she was able to, and I talked to my husband, and he's like, yeah, I guess, yeah, that works. And we put our deposits down, and we are signed up for the Southern California retreat, and it's the end of September. So super, super, super excited to go. I've never been to a stitching retreat before, and just the logistics of childcare and everything, wasn't sure I'd ever be able to go until my kids were grown. So it's just gonna be really fun to be able to go to this one. Because it's so close, it's gonna be feasible to be able to go. So that's really exciting. I'm excited about that. So if anybody who watches me is also gonna go to the retreat, let me know. If you have a channel or an Instagram, you know, let me know, and then I make sure to follow you and get to know you a little bit online before we meet in person. So that'll be fun. And I think that was everything for right now. Going forward, my plans for the next, you know, at least week are going to be grapes. This is my golden kite. This is a small version. There's a larger version too, but I thought the detail on this was just fine in the small version. And I used to have this as my travel piece, even though it's got a bunch of colors. I kept a little box of this size box. I kept one in my bag with all the colors that were needed for that pattern. And no, maybe it was a bigger box. I don't remember. I kept a box with all the colors, and I worked on it at football practices and ballet practice, and you know, different things, and I made good progress on it through all of that time. Oh, just a minute. Okay, I'm back. That was my husband telling me about a deal on a new phone, which is a long time coming. Mine is really slow and it's rough. So I've been like, please let me know when you find a good deal. So I have a new phone on the way. Woohoo! So let's see. I was talking about grapes. Used to be my travel piece, but I haven't worked on it really at all since I took it out of my travel rotation. So this is where it's at now, and I've been doing, I started parking on this piece with horizontal parking and then moved to vertical parking, so that's why it looks a little bit funny here. This is where it's at right now. I just love the way Golden Kite's shading and realism is. It just looks like the painting. So we've got a leaf and a stick and like a grapevine and some grapes, different colors of grapes. Beautiful blue sky, the rustic wood trim, and the plaster wall. And this is like the landscape starting. So that's where grapes is. And this, I have a page on this, is Year of Whips goal. And I haven't pulled it out at all yet this year. So we'll see, maybe this week, on these 2 days, maybe we can get this column finished. So we'll see if that's doable. Who knows, with the way I like to color complete, I might end up doing like the whole page. If I have a color here that's anywhere else in the page, I'll just do it and then park it on the following page. Just because I know that's my ultimate goal for the year, so we'll see how that goes. That might be what I'll try to do with this one. So that's Grapes by the Golden Kite. This is on 18 count Fiddler's cloth, which is 2/1 full crosses, which is how I used to do all of my full coverage pieces. And I really like the coverage of that 18 count 2 strands. It's just right. So if you're not a tiny fabric stitcher to want to try to do full coverage on 25 or 28, 18 is what I would recommend. And it has great coverage, and it's not that, it's I have seen people doing full coverage pieces on 14 and even 11, so you can do it on any kind of fabric, but personally I like 18 and I like 25 and 28. Those are my favorites, but I know everybody has their own favorites. So after grapes, we'll get 2 days. I have another new start to finally get to Tapestry by Ink Circles. And this was started by a bunch of people earlier in the year, and I was waiting, and then I came across the Victoria Motto Eliza Bell Cox thread pack and chose a bunch of those colors for my conversion, including a few other of their regular colors. I've got Fisherman's Wharf right here, and not that one. This one, Old Salem Spell. Do I have any other ones? I think the rest of these are all Eliza Bell Cox. So that's fun. I will be starting that on some 28 count Jobelin, which is way back there. So you saw it last time. It's just off-white Jobelin. So I'm going to do that 1/1. I'm also doing my Cherry Kitty 1/1 on 28 count. That blue and purple fabric is also a Jobelin. So that's full crosses with 1 strand. So, which is how Tapestry will be also. And then next will be a 2-day rotation on my Adventure Awaits Sal by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. And we did Europe already, and so I'm not sure where they're going to go, if they're going to go down or this way or this way. So we'll have to wait and see. She did say, I believe on Facebook yesterday maybe, that she's got something going on this weekend. So it would normally be due to come out the 22nd her time, but she's going to bump it up to the 20th or 21st. So it's going to be earlier, because she has her friend's wedding or something is this weekend. So she's going to release it a day or two early for her convenience, but it also means the rest of us get it a little bit early. So this is where this is at right now. This is on light blue 16 count Ada that she provided in the kit, and this is the Europe section. So that turned out really cute, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the next clue will have, what part of the map we're going to go to in our adventure. And then I will work on Dragon Ride, which I didn't pull out. But thankfully I keep that one close because it's a regular one. So this is my Middle Sons piece. This is by Teresa Wensler, The Dragon Ride. I got my copy on Patterns Online and just got a PDF. And this is where I'm at with this right now. Have a little bit of the border, a little bit of the dragon, a little bit of the man. So I'm not sure where I'll go with this. So we'll see what I want to do. Probably more dragon, because it's a little bit easier to work on the dragon. The border, there's a lot of counting, so I don't know if I'll do any more border right now. So that will currently get 2 days, but I think, like I said, going forward, I'll probably stick to doing these kid projects only 1 day a month again, and then doing my other projects with larger chunks in and around these ones. So, and then the next one that I'll probably get to before I get to you again will be Knitting Woman. Oh, that's right. So grapes I'm doing for, I think this one I was doing for the red theme for the month in Full Coverage Fanatics, because there's some red berries, red fruit, red, even the leaves was kind of red. So this one is for Full Coverage Fanatics Red or Travel, which I guess this could be a, you know, Italian, French countryside, something or other, I don't know. I think I went for more the color. And then this one, I'm going to do Knitting Woman. Could also be for red, but I was going to choose it for the Quarterly Element Fire. I only have one piece that has fire in it. It's my Stitch in Time bookshelf, the stitching shelf, because I have the one without the little hoop in the middle. And it has a little fireplace at the very bottom. But now my kids are playing, so you'll hear their noises now. They look like they could be sitting in front of the fire and enjoying the cozy fire while they're knitting and playing. So that's kind of where I went with that. Because I don't really have anything else that works for fire. And I could have got my stitching shelf out, but this is a Year of Whips piece, so I wanted to kind of pick my Year of Whips pieces as much as possible. And I worked on this fairly recently as well, so you've seen this recently, but this is also Golden Kite, and I'm working on this page right here. And her strap is red, so this one definitely could work for red too. And I think fire also could have been like the colors of fire, so maybe I had this for red and this one for fire, and with just the colors, reds and oranges and stuff. I don't know. I'll double check the fine print, and maybe they'll both count for both. I'm not sure, but I'm going to work on this one to try to fill in this page. I think I'll work on the sleeve first to try to fill in the rest of this page, because some of this stuff is in the page I'm working on, but it will continue this way down her arm. So I'd rather do this first, and then even though this is higher on the page, which is usually where I start from, is the higher stuff, I'll work on this first, and then her strap, and then, yeah, we'll see. I'm doing this 2/1 half stitch, which is not great coverage on 22 count Hardanger, or 22 count Ada, technically, is what it's called here. So that's that. And again, great shading on the Golden Kite patterns. And then I have 2 more Christmas pieces that I'll work on at the end of the month. But I think I'm hoping I'll be able to get to you again before then and show you those later. So I had one more thing to talk about here at the end of my video. So I have recently passed 3,000 subscribers, which is kind of mind-blowing. Never in a million years, and I still don't really believe it, would I expect that there would be that many people who would care about my stitching and my planning and all of that. So it's been a real treat to, share my stitching with you guys and hear all the comments and suggestions and encouragement, and I just really enjoy it. And every time I post a video, it's fun to start hearing what you guys have to say, because it's definitely a two-way conversation with these videos, and so it's really fun sharing the last 1.5 years with all of you. And so I was going back and forth with what I wanted to do to say thank you, and I thought I would do a small giveaway for gift cards to my shop. So I have an Etsy shop, Stitchin Mommy on Etsy, and so I thought I would give away 3 $10 gift certificates to my shop, and some of the patterns I have are $10 or less, so you can easily get some things with nothing, or you can put it towards something bigger and like a kit or a larger pattern and have it be a discount. But I think I'll be able to do that to just give away gift cards. So something else I wanted to show you too is a new pattern I have in the works. It's not currently posted in my shop, but hopefully before my next video I'll get it posted so that whoever wins the gift cards could buy this with their gift card if they wanted to. And it's a new temperature pattern. This is a temperature quilt. It's not made out of fabric, it's made out of stitches, so it is still a cross stitch pattern, but it's based off of a temperature quilt idea that some quilters could do. And what I like about this idea is you can choose the high and the low temperature. So for the temperature garden, each petal was one temperature for the day, and some people were altering it to do high and low within the same petal, but they're kind of small petals, so it's really not as conducive to having two colors in there as the larger petal might be. But this one, we have the high and the low are two different colors in one square. So this square is one day. This is January, February, March, all the way over. And so these center months are the summer months. This is based on last year in my hometown. So 2007, I believe, is the temperatures from last year. So, so this would be the high from January 1st and the low from January 1st. And so it's kind of fun having more of a quilty look, and you have highs and lows to talk about. And different areas will look differently, because like where we are, we don't have a whole lot of humidity usually. So we get pretty chilly in the evenings, even though it's been hot at night. So some of these days, you know, you can have a good amount of difference with a pretty hot day and a pretty cool night. So, but other parts of the country or other parts of the world won't be like that, and they'll be more similar different times of the year. So I thought that was kind of fun. And this one, I have the sashing, I think is what the quilters call it. The band around and in between is a muslin look color, which you could either choose the DMC that I chose for it, or like a an over-dyed thread or something that could be like parchment or grits or something that has a little bit of variegation in it that could be the sashing. If you wanted to give it a more dramatic look, you could go for a dark sashing to make it more modern. And this one you could do like Old Salem Spell or something. I think I chose $37.99 if you wanted to do like a dark gray DMC. But that's my new pattern that I'm hoping to come up, put out in the next week or so. And I have other ideas stirring in here for other temperature patterns. It's just hard to find the time to sit down at my computer and work on them. So with all the kids stuff, at the end of the year it was busy. Summer is really busy. So once school year starts again, I'm hoping to put together a few more patterns. But that's my newest one. And so let's see. I didn't even think about this. I want to have you ask me something. Since this is a giveaway, I don't want you to mention giveaway to make sure it goes to my subscribers and people who would really enjoy stitching. So I want you to ask me something. What should you ask me? I guess since this is kind of a temperature thing, maybe what is your favorite temperature or season, you know, like that you enjoy the most? I know some people like when it's hot and they can get a tan or whatnot. Other people prefer to be cold and like to bundle up in front of the fire. You know, other people prefer like a spring or fall type feel where it's cool. And so I don't know. Let me know what temperature / season you enjoy to be in, like warmth wise. What's your favorite? And if you comment with something like that, I will enter you in the drawing, and I'll choose 3 people next time to win a gift certificate to my Etsy shop. So I think I'm hoping next week, maybe towards the end of next week, I'm hoping I'll be able to film another video. So you'll have a little over a week, like a week and a half, to see this and enter. And I hope that will be enjoyable for you. And a lot of my patterns are PDFs, so international is perfect for that because you can get it wherever. I do offer a printing upgrade or kits if you need those things. But the PDFs are available on all of my patterns. So I think that's everything I wanted to talk about, which has been way longer than I expected, so I'm sorry if you were hoping for a short one. But that's it, and I'm really looking forward to when school's back in session as far as my stitching goes. I really like having my kids home. But there is definitely an advantage to having a routine to the days and knowing that I'll have X number of hours to work on stuff. And But in the meantime, I'm enjoying them. I'm enjoying the things we're doing together and playing board games with them and making box forts and just being silly. So that's what we're up to over here, and I hope you're having a great summer where you are. And happy stitching! Bye!